This is an install charge pipe install on a 2011 BMW F10 535. This should apply to all your N55 engines in the 5 Series, 6 Series, and 7 Series. There might be some minor differences in those cars, but pretty much it's the same. The N55 engines in the 3 Series, 4 Series, 2 Series are a bit different, but this pretty much probably applies to all N55s. Probably N54s as well, but we're gonna go in, change the charge pipe since they're really fragile on these cars, since we're doing stage 1 on this 535. They're known for blowing up on N55s a little more frequently than N54s for some reason. It's a newer engine, but I don't know, they made it weaker. So we're gonna replace it with a BMS Burger Motorsports aluminum charge pipe. It comes with different hardware and a coupler, so you could stick it onto the intercooler pipe what comes up. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start this replacement of the charge pipe by removing this bar right over here. You're going to have 2 nuts over here, and then you're going to remove this air duct to the air filter. Getting a little farther in, like you see, this is pretty much exposed to the charge pipe right over here, so you don't have to take off the air box, most likely. You're also going to have to take off this plug over here and the sensor right over here, and I'll show you how to do that in a bit. Alright, these 2 bolts are 16 millimeters. I have them loosened, so I'm going to take them off right now. These 2 bolts are pretty snug, so you're probably going to have to loosen them by hand. I'm going to have to loosen them by hand. Like you see, this bolt is really long, the one in the back of this bar. After removing these 16 millimeter bolts, you have to remove this air duct, which goes into the air filter. All you got to do is push it out here, pull it up, and then you pull it out of there. Pretty simple. This is your charge pipe exposed. Now you have to remove this plug right over here and unplug this sensor right down here. Take off this clip and loosen this clamp right over here. Alright, so this plug, all you gotta do is, you're gonna see like these 2 grooves right over here. All you gotta do is push down on them and pull up, just like that. Push in by these 2 and pull up. Then you have this clamp right over here. Just get a smaller flathead and just simply unscrew it. It shouldn't be that tight. And simply unscrew it until it's loose, and you can move it just like this. You could get it a little more looser. After you move that down, you want to go down here and take this clip off the charge pipe. You could probably do this with your screwdriver. If not, grab a pick and pull it off. Like you see right over here. You could take it completely off the charge pipe, just pull it to one side and leverage it up. Lastly, you have a sensor right over here for your charge pipe. After you remove the charge pipe, you want to remove these 2 screws right over here. It's a T25, and then you want to take this O-ring out from the middle of the charge pipe. Alright, on your charge pipe, if you bought the BMS one, you're going to have 2 hex bolts in here, which are a 2.5 hex. You want to unscrew these, just like this. And there is a washer on this bolt. Do not use the screws from the original charge pipe off the car, because those are self-threading, and this is a machined threads into the charge pipe for these bolts, so do not reuse the old ones. After removing these bolts, keep the washer on them. Take your sensor, what was on the charge pipe, stick it in with the thing facing down. You could also lubricate this O-ring so it slides in easier with like engine oil or some type of grease. Just like that. After you're done reinstalling the sensor with these two hex bolts and installing your O-ring back into the charge pipe, you're ready to put it back on the car. Right before installing the charge pipe, you could take this coupler and slide it onto this lower charge pipe right over here. And you could slide it pretty far down so you could install your charge pipe onto it, onto the car, onto the throttle body, and then you can move this over the charge pipe. Okay, installing the charge pipe, I'll go in from this way since you have the most room over here. You sort of got to angle it in different directions. And you just want to, you don't want to, like, you know, hurt any of the plastic because it's pretty brittle. And you want to angle it down onto the charge pipe onto the throttle body. After you position your charge pipe onto the throttle body, it requires some force, so you just want to take this charge pipe and push up. And you're gonna feel the O-ring click into place. Still not completely on. Just like that. You're gonna see the groove line up through the charge pipe and on the throttle body. You want to take this clip, which you took off before, and slide it right onto here. Alright, so with the package, you are going to receive two clamps. The larger clamp goes on the upper charge pipe, and the smaller clamp goes on the lower charge pipe. You could also slide these on before you put on this charge pipe and coupler, but you could also just take off the nut and it expands for you, and then slide it under the charge pipe and put the nut back on just like this, and you're gonna be good to go. After installing the charge pipe, just tighten down these two clamps right over here, not too tight so you don't bend anything. You also don't want to strip the nut on it because it's kind of gentle. You want to reinstall this duct, torque back these bolts holding this brace. Make sure all the clips are in, as in this right over here and the boost sensor on the charge pipe, and just do the reverse of this assembly.